Hi and welcome to Know Your Rights. I'm Chris Fisher, and this video is part of a personal injury series in association with Curry Law Group, and we're going to focus in on premises liability today. And from Curry Law Group, we have Dan King. Welcome.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, first, let's explain premises liability.
Premises liability, I want to distinguish it from an automobile accident or a motorcycle accident. Premises liability is when an injury occurs on somebody's property or a business property. It occurs on the premises. So we have to distinguish that from, say, automobile claims or other types of claims. And there are a lot of unique aspects when you're dealing with premises liability. In our business, we'll commonly refer to them as slip and fall. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're all slip and fall cases, but that's just a term of art that we use.
And we're going to come back to slip and fall here because I would imagine a lot of the people that have clicked on this video probably fall into that category. Sorry. But first, is there a difference between slipping on somebody at a friend's house versus slipping in the biggest box store in the world on their property?
Well, slip and fall, again, are very common cases. They're very challenging cases from our perspective because there is a misconception. The misconception that a lot of people have, if you fall on somebody's property or you fall in the big business or you fall in the big grocery store, that the owner of that business or the owner of the house is automatically liable or responsible, and that's not true. The misconception is that they believe that simply because they were hurt, and again, it doesn't matter how bad you're hurt, we have to establish that the business owner, the homeowner, the person who controls that property did something wrong, did something negligent.
So if there was just a puddle of water at a restaurant, if that water ended up there seconds before you hit it, so what you're saying is the business owner is not necessarily responsible? Correct.
The issues we have to look at, for example, if somebody slips and falls on someone's premises, we look as to what they fell on. We have to establish how long it had been there. The reason you have to establish how long it's been there because you have to have the business owner, the homeowner, has to have the ability, have to have notice of this dangerous condition that caused the fall. If somebody spills water in a grocery store and here you come around the corner 5 seconds later and you slip on that and you suffer serious injuries, the question becomes, what did that grocery store, what did that business know? Did they have notice of this condition? Could they have prevented it?
So it's not automatic?
Absolutely not. And again, that's a misconception.
Can I throw a couple of scenarios at you?
Sure, sure.
All right, you're chasing your brother's kid around the backyard just having a good time. And you don't see a root that's come up out of the ground and you just jam your foot on it, you break your foot. Is that black and white? Is that cut and dry?
Nothing's cut and dry or black and white in our business, but that's a different scenario because that root, that growth out of the ground didn't occur instantaneously. It didn't occur overnight. In fact, it probably took months or years for that to occur. In fact, very commonly I'll see where a root pushes up a sidewalk, causing a dangerous condition. So the homeowner, the business owner, was aware of this dangerous condition. They had a duty and obligation to correct it or make sure that that dangerous condition didn't exist. So the scenario you talk about, running around and tripping on there, yeah, that's something we're certainly going to look at, and the homeowner is going to have to be responsible and liable for it.
Next scenario I want to throw out at you is dog bites. Is that cut and dry? Because, I mean, you hear stories all the time. My dog never bites, but my friend was drunk and in his face, or his little 2-year-old was over and, grabbed him by the face.
Dog bite cases are unique, and the most significant difference in slip and falls and premises liability and dog bite cases is Florida recognizes what's called strict liability. So if a dog bites you and you have legal reason to be on the property, as you're not a burglar or someone trying to break into the place, if you have legal reason to be on somebody's property or walking the street and a dog bites you, that homeowner is going to be strictly liable for that. Now, certainly there are presumptions against the strict liability. For example, if you're in a dog's face or you step on their tail or you irritate the dog, then the strict liability issues are going to raise, and they're going to have defenses to that claim.
Let's talk about a sensitive part of this because sometimes these injuries happen and you're at a friend's house, you're at a family member's house, and then that awkward conversation of, I have to sue you, or I'm not suing you, I'm suing your insurance company, or however that works.
Well, it's a misnomer about suing the insurance company because we actually have to sue or make a claim against the homeowner. Their insurance company is going to defend them and indemnify them, which means to pay the claim and defend the claim. But yes, that can create uncomfortable situations. But the fact of the matter is, the reality of the situation is, if somebody suffered an injury as a result of somebody's negligence, even if it's their friend, that's why the insurance is there. And if the person has injuries and that there's a reasonable basis to pursue it, we're going to pursue it.
I feel like we're going long here, but there's another scenario I want to throw out at you, and that has to do with the city. Like you mentioned sidewalks earlier, and so the city has so much to pay attention to. A sidewalk broken here, something. Is it easy to go after any particular city if you get hurt on their property?
Well, yeah, you've gone down a totally different road because when you
We'll save this for another video. We'll save that for another video.
There are similar aspects in premises liability, but when you're making a claim against a governmental agency, they have what's called sovereign immunity. So there's other obstacles and other areas and directions we have to go in. But the issues are the same, but getting to them is a little more difficult.
All right, as you can see, there are a lot of different kinds of premises liability and a lot of different scenarios out there. We can't cover them all, but if you are in this situation, please give Curry Law Group a call, and they can get you at what number?
Curry Law Group, 813-653-2500.
Dan King, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Chris.